So I'm going to be starting the race. When I do, 30 seconds approximately, between 30 and 35 seconds after the race has started for GT1s, Phil, you press left on the D-pad, yes, and start the race for the GT2s. And then approximately 30 to 35 seconds after that, Papa, you press left on the D-pad and start it for the GT3s. So between 30 and 35 seconds after each race, the next race starts. Alright, away we go. First multi-class race in so long. Like proper multi-class race as well. It's exciting. Reverse grids in each GT. We've got 2 pit stops for everybody. And we'll hopefully get some lapping done. Oh, I forgot to talk about blue flags and the fact that there aren't any in multi-class racing, unless you're lapping someone in your own class, but that's unlikely. But those in a lower class, they don't have to move out of the way, but they can't actively defend their position as well in the slower cars. They can either follow their line or get out of the way. You've got 2 pit stops to do, and you can do them on any lap. As long as you do them before the end. Oh, this is dicey. Oh, that was dicey. Could have gone much worse. Ascabini held it from pole position. So the way that the qualifying worked, for anyone who's just come in, each GT was split up based on a qualifying race. Top 10 from the qualifying race were in GT1, the middle 10 GT2, the bottom 10 in GT3. We've actually got 11 in GT2 and 9 in GT3 just because last place, 21st place was quick enough really for GT2. And we'll have a winner of each class by the end. Oh! And I qualified on pole position from the qualifying race. And then I said that we're starting reverse order, so put myself at the back. Back to the lead though. Ascabini qualified in 10th and started on pole position. I qualified on pole position and started last, well 10th. And we're running 1-2 right now. Plenty of laps to go, 2 pit stops to make. Good start though. Looks like we're coming up to lap some penumbras already, some GT3s. We did have 30-second gaps between the classes. I suppose they could be this far back doing some like early pit stops, maybe like both of their pit stops super early or something, you never know. Actually, someone's coming out of the pit lane from the Penumbras, so maybe the Penumbras are doing some early stops. It means we're running up against them quickly. It's going to be about managing the traffic, classic multi-class races. If any of the higher GTs, the faster cars, take out any of the slower GTs, they've got to wait for them just like they would anyone else. You got to be careful around the slower cars. You don't want to lose too much time. Wait, that looks... Hoyster looks like he's really struck. Oh, I hope Hoyster didn't have like his vehicle stance set to lowered or something like that. Not realizing it, because that looked like a real handful in that ZR350. The ZR350 shouldn't be driving like that. It can't be low grip tires, because I would imagine we would be seeing other people with the same car that was handed out having those issues too. Yeah, as with all multi-class races, it's about getting out around the traffic cleanly. Not only overtaking traffic cleanly, but if you're in one of the lower GTs, not losing as much time as you possibly could. I think the GT3 is early on. It'll be a while before we catch up to the GT2s. So this is the battle for the lead in GT3. Alright, that's all the GT3s cleared. So I've got a lot of free air in front now. I need to utilize that. I don't want to make a pit stop anytime soon and drop myself back into a pack of slower cars. Might be a good idea to make my first pit stop when I get up to the GT2s or something like that. And obviously I'm not really going to know where I'm at realistically until all the pit stops, until I've at least done my 2 pit stops. Because I don't know obviously how many pit stops everyone else has done. You know, theoretically everybody in GT1 could have already done both of their pit stops, and by the end of the race I do mine and I come up behind like half of them, as an extreme example. Right, there's the first ZR350. Into nighttime. ZR350s are a little bit more spread out than the Penumbras were because we're catching them later into the race. Although actually there looks like a big group of ZR350s together further up the road. Oh, it's not a big group of ZR350s. It's a big group of ZR350s and Penumbras. The ZR... Oh, it's that mid part of a multi-class race when you've got relatively... When the cars are relatively balanced in terms of the gaps between them. Meaning the gap from first to... Like the GT1s to the GT2s is similar to the gap from the GT2s to the GT3s. What you find is... The GT1s first of all catch the GT3s and the GT2s are on their own for a while. And then you get to a point in the race where by the time the GT1s catch the GT2s are also catching the GT3s. So you get everyone all in a big mess all at the same time. I think that's the point that we're at right now. The GT2s are overtaking the GT3s, and I'm coming up to join the party. That is a big gaggle of cars. Right, what do I do? Do I pit now? I'm gonna have to overtake them one way or another. Yeah, let's box. As long as these two don't box in front of me. Give myself a little bit of breathing space for them to work it all out. And hopefully they'll all be a little bit more further spread out by the time I get to them. Get through one of these penumbras, not the next one I don't think. Oh, it's a ZR350, that's why. Well, I've done one pit stop and I'm still in the lead. So that's a good sign. I'm not bringing up the gaps because I never do in a multi-class race. Or any race where I'm doing alright, to be fair. Alright, 2 penumbras. We'll get them on the next straight. Oh, not with oversteer like that, I won't. That was harder than it needed to be. Still a big gaggle of cars up front. Only lapped, I think, 2 of the ZR350s at the minute. There's still 9 of them left. Coming up to half distance. Oh, this is going to be tricky. We're in the mix. As always with multi-class stuff, better to be a bit more patient than try to go for something ridiculous to get a position. You can see how much more difficult it is to lap the GT2s than it is to the GT3s. And here we really get the speed advantage, significantly so anyway, to make it an easy pass when we're sort of into that final gear top speed phase. The GT3s are obviously very slow. The GT2s are much slower than the Schlagen GT, obviously, but not as much, so you notice the difference in how difficult it is to get past. We might come back up to some more GT2s by the end of the race, actually. The way that it's gone, we're about halfway through the race. Well, we're just more than halfway through the race. I think we're going to lap this. We're going to lap some penumbras 3 times. We're going to lap some penumbras 4 times, actually. The leaders maybe 3 times. The leaders of the ZR350s we're probably only going to lap once, but some of the guys further back we're probably going to lap twice. So it's going to get dicey right at the end of the race again, as we all come together at the same part of the track. It's going to be a tough wait for Phoenix. He was behind me. I think he was in 2nd place. He's taken out a GT2. He's going to have to wait for him. We have that rule in place so that the faster cars can't just knock the slower cars out of the way, you know, and ruin their races just to be able to get out of the way. You gotta respect the slower cars and not take them out. They're doing their own race too. Alright, so I think that's Max Verstappen in either 3rd or 4th place for GT2s. There's 2 dots ahead of me on track, and then there's 1 dot that's further ahead than these 2. It's either a penumbra that we're coming around to lap again, or the leader of the ZR350s, the GT2s. But again, pit stops play a part in this. We don't know how many of these guys have done 1 pit stop, they've done no pit stops, they've done both of their pit stops. Find out at the end. This isn't a multi-class endurance championship length. That's normally 90 minutes. But it's going to be a good 45 minutes this race. So we're still getting a full day. A full day-night cycle. Which is nice. Remember, it was reverse grid order that we started with as well. So it wasn't necessarily that the fastest guys have just been at the front and able to drive away. And that's something that you can do as a GT2 or GT3 driver. Coming into a corner, just brake a little bit early, let off the gas a little bit early. To let a faster car past, you both lose minimal time. So there's 1 car ahead here. There's actually 2 cars up ahead of me. One's quite far ahead, though. Tell you what, the lighting around this track looks great at night. These are custom props, right? You can't get these props on vanilla. You gotta get them through the dev creator. But they look so good on these Apexes. Especially out in the sticks like this where it's fairly dark in general. Modded lights, yeah. They look so good. And they're not doing the annoying thing that city lights do on PC. Where they turn themselves off before you've gotten past them. So you see them turn themselves off at the back of your camera. They're just staying on all the time. This is a Rockstar track, someone asks in the chat. It's definitely not a Rockstar track. This kind of quality, definitely not a Rockstar track. Who made this track? GSX? So pit stop for whoever that was in front of me. That means he gets out of my way without me having to overtake. That's nice. Looks like he comes out still in the lead of the ZR350s. I guess I'd better look at the lap times to see, well, the leaderboard to see where people are. So it's DeRogen and Philhoff in first and second for GT2. That must have been catching up to DeRogen there. I wonder if they've both now done their first pits. I wonder if they've both done the same number of pit stops now, because they're pretty close on the track, renewing their rivalry from the MCEC secondary championship in season 5. And they were going for the GT4 championship. I guess I'd better do my second pit stop soon. Get it done so I can forget about it. It's fairly spread out actually at this part of the map, so I don't think I'm going to take the stop right now. If something catastrophic happens as well and I need to pit for damage, I'd rather have that pit stop in my back pocket. But I also don't want to bleed away time, potentially to Phoenix in second place. If he's made both of his stops and he's catching me up, I need to have the ability to defend from him. Pace difference, Schlagen GT to Penumbra, it's crazy. Crazy to think they're in the same class. And they're not even the quickest or the slowest in the sports class. When you see a Pariah overtake a Blister Compact, then you see the quickest or the slowest. DeRogen being taken out. Has there been a change of lead? Oh, there's been a big change in positions. Oh. Taken out by 4th place man in GT1 it looked like. Alright, time to box. Alright, second pit stop done. Come out in the lead. That's good again. At least I know where I'm at now. I've done my 2 pit stops. GT2 up ahead. And we got 2 Penumbras fighting over position. This is going to be a bit dicey. Need to get them both done on this straight. Get a good exit. Get up the inside. Okay, good. Good. That was important, I think. Another Penumbra, and then it's a bit of clear air. I've got 5 seconds to Phoenix in second place. If he's done both of his pit stops, that is the gap that I've got until the end of the race. He might still have a pit stop to do, but I can't assume that. So that's the race for the win. With 4 laps to go. 1 more Penumbra it looks like, and then it's really clear space in front. Clean air. A lot of clean air. If Deist is leading the Penumbras. Tricky conditions towards the close of this race. It started off nice and sunny, then we went through the night phase. Now as we get into morning, it's really foggy. God, there's nobody in front of me. Now there's 4 laps to go. Miscounted. Going to be a straight fight to the finish. Oh wait, I've got a massive gap behind. Much bigger than I previously had. I need to check the timings. The gap's back out to 11 seconds. He must have pitted as well. It was 11 seconds. Then I pitted and it went down to 5 seconds. Then he must have pitted and it's gone back to 11. So we're basically running the same pace. That's good for me, gives me a bit of extra buffer for the last few laps. See, again, you never quite know until the pit stops all filter themselves out. Alright, a few more overtakes it looks like. It's the thing, you catch them up so quick. You're never on your own for too long. 2 laps to go. Just need to make sure this is nice and clean and tidy. Gap's pushed out to 12 seconds. Looks like Mark is in the lead of the GT2s now. Last lap time. That's 5 seasons of MCEC experience right there. Just sitting behind and wait for the opportunity. I think there's some GT2s probably just ahead on the map, but we're gonna run out of time to catch up to them and overtake them, which is good. Less risk. Speaking of, there's a GT2. There's a lot of them on the map all together. Had a pretty decent run of it towards the end of this race, I think. I got all my overtaking done with the big packs earlier on. And how about that? A multi-class race win in GT1. Thanks for the GGs in the chat. Phoenix took the best lap by 3/10. It was pretty close, top 3 best lap wise. I think Phoenix was shadowing me pretty much all the way through that race. We were just in different parts of the track because of pit stops, and then I think he took somebody out, so that was the ultimate finisher. Might have been close without that. Alright, let's see what's happening in GT2. So Mark is in the lead. Bloody Squirrels is in second. How far back? So there's your GT1 finishing order. Last to first. I just realised. Now we're watching the battle for the lead in GT2. So that's the leader in GT2, Mark Verstappen. That's a back marker. This is Bloody Squirrels in second. Is Meliante in third? No, Phil Hoff is there. So we got leader in GT2, second in GT2, third in GT2. They're all pretty close. So Mark Verstappen wins 6 seconds ahead of Bloody Squirrels in GT2. Phil Hoff in third, a further 7 seconds back. What's happening with the GT3s? Here's your leader in GT3, Deist. Doesn't have the best lap. Jex has the best lap, 10th of a second ahead. Cut in second place is 3/10 down, but pretty close lap time wise between the top 3 in each class. GG's everybody. Top 3 in GT3 was Deist, Cut and Jex. The top 3 in GT2 was Mark, Bloody Squirrels and Phil. And the top 3 in GT1 was me, Phoenix and Kimmy Bobbins. It's good to do a multi-class race again. It's been a while.